What's up, everybody? Nate here. So I love ultralight backpacking. It seems to be the most popular topic on this channel, which is fine by me. I love it. So let's talk about it more today. 6 myths about ultralight backpacking that may prevent you from actually going ultralight backpacking. You've heard the myths, you've heard the rumors, and you said, F that. That is not for me. Myth number one, which is the most common myth that you hear all the time, is that going ultralight is dangerous. And this just simply isn't true. The reason why it's not is because you just have to plan ahead. Now, to help you plan ahead, I'm going to cover what are called the 5 T's of ultralight backpacking. The first T is called terrain. So what I need you to do when you're planning your trip is know what terrain you're getting into. Know your elevation profiles. Is it going to be a really rocky and rooty trail? How steep are the elevation gains? Will you be exposed to weather conditions above tree line without any sort of shelter from those conditions? Are you going to be hiking like here in the White Mountains, Mount Washington, where in the summertime it can turn to winter conditions in the snap of a finger? You need to know that kind of stuff and plan for the worst case scenarios. And when you do that, you'll just make your trips a lot safer. So that's the first T. Our second T is a pretty obvious one, and that's temperature. You need to know obviously how warm or cold it's going to be outside. And what I want you to do is actually do some research into this and make sure that you know the weather conditions, you know the temperatures, not really of the town you're going to be hiking in, but the specific trail and mountain you'll be hiking on. I do not want you to get your weather forecast from a town. That is wrong, and it will be wrong once you get on trail. I will put some resources in the description to help you guys narrow down on how to find those forecasts for trails that you might be hiking or peaks that you might be hiking on. Our third T is time. What's your pace like? That's what I mean by time. What's your pace like on trail? Is it fast? Is it slow? Do you not even know a pace? And if you don't, I'll give you a quick little formula here. I would plan for about 1.5 miles per hour, especially if you're new. And then on top of that, I want you to add 30 minutes for every 1,000 feet of elevation gain that you'll experience. So if you're going by 1.5 miles per hour for a 12-mile trip or day or whatever it may be, I would plan on around 8 hours. Now, if you have 2,000 feet of elevation gain within those 12 miles, I want you to plan for an extra hour because of the elevation. So an 8-hour trip for 12 miles turns into 9 hours. Now, again, these are very conservative estimates, and they definitely vary depending on what region you live in and what region you're hiking in. But in general, I would have you rather plan on the slower side than on the faster side, just for safety's sake. Our next T is troubles. What kind of troubles might you experience just outside of the norm on this backpacking trip you're taking? Do you have any sort of medical conditions? Do you have like a bum heart? Do you have asthma? You have to bring extra medicines? Is there like a trail closure? Is there a shelter that might be closed due to bear activity? You have to kind of try to think outside of the box and all those extra things that are easy to kind of like miss on your radar, so to say. So take a step back, make sure you're considering all the troubles that you might experience on the trail. And our last T is training. So what kind of training do you have as an ultralight backpacker? Are you new to it? If so, you might want to adjust your trip accordingly. Maybe not do something that goes above tree line. Maybe do something in really nice, fair weather. Maybe do a shorter trip, something with less elevation gain. Whatever it is, you want to kind of plan your trip around your experience level. And the other aspect of training is your physical training, your physical fitness. How fit are you or lack thereof? If you can plan your trips out, follow these 5 T's, without a doubt, you're going to have a much safer and much more enjoyable experience in the backcountry. And that kind of dispels our first myth that ultralight backpacking is dangerous, which it really isn't. But danger isn't the only misconception when it comes to this ultralight backpacking stuff. A lot of people think that going ultralight will also drain your wallet. And that brings us to myth number 2, which is that going ultralight will cost you thousands of dollars. Now, something to consider is going lighter doesn't automatically mean it has to be more expensive. And I have some notes here on my laptop that I want to kind of share with you guys. So REI makes a 4-pound half dome tent, which costs $320. Or you can get a 2-pound 3FUL Lanshan 110 off of Amazon for $150. You can carry an 8-ounce multi-tool for $50 or a 1-ounce knife with scissors for $25. You can carry this 3-ounce MSR pocket rocket stove, which I have, for $60, or a 1-ounce BRS 3000 stove, which I also have, for $25. And in regards to packs, you can buy a 4.5-pound Osprey Atmos backpack for $370. Really heavy, really expensive. Or you can spend $245 on this 8-ounce backpack from Mountain Laurel Designs called the Exodus 55. Now, if you choose all the ultralight options on this list as compared to the heavier options, you will actually save $360 and a whopping 6 pounds from your backpacking setup in total. So again, going ultralight doesn't mean you're spending more money. It just doesn't. And another thing I want you to consider here is experience counts as quote unquote currency too, because you can buy a ton of ultralight gear, bring it with you and not still be ultralight because you're carrying too much. And to go ultralight backpacking, you just bring less stuff. You know, the more experience you have with ultralight backpacking, the better you're going to be at it. And the more you kind of realize that you don't need to spend a ton of money on getting the latest and greatest ultralight everything. It's really, again, about paring down your kit. Okay, so going ultralight doesn't cost you thousands of dollars, but what about gear durability? So that leads us to our next myth here, is that ultralight gear is fragile. Now, I've got something to show you here. Check this out. This is my buddy's backpack. It's made of very, very durable materials, and you'll see that this backpack looks pretty beat up. There's tears, there's holes, there's all kinds of rips.
You'll find a Nintendo in the bottom of there.
You got some chew marks on the edge.
Got some miles.
Check out this backpack, which is mine. It's the 𝐒𝐷𝐷𝐷 Exos 48. You'll see some tears in the mesh, water bottle pocket, and the back pocket as well. And this, again, is considered, you know, a more durable pack, especially compared to like ultralight backpacks, for example. So even though these are durable packs, they're still showing signs of damage. So wouldn't ultralight gear do the same or be even worse off than this gear? Not necessarily, and hear me out, because even though ultralight gear is considered less durable, the most telling sign of how long gear will last you is really you and how well or lack thereof you treat your gear. Like my buddy's pack, for example, here, you know, there's chew marks all over this backpack because he's left food wrappers inside of it. And everybody knows, at least most people, that when you leave anything smellable in your backpack, especially at a shelter, things are coming for you. In regards to my 𝐒𝐷𝐷𝐷 Exos backpack, the tears are from me. I remember doing every single one of those tears, and quite frankly, they're just due to negligence. It's just due to me shoving gear in there haphazardly and damaging the backpack. So long story short, negligence wears out gear faster than the actual materials itself, okay? So if you treat your gear right, even ultralight gear, overall, it will last you. And before we move on from this, I'm not insane. Like, I'm not saying that like you should, like for example, if you wear your Alpha Direct hoodie outside and you're bushwhacking, that thing isn't gonna get all torn up. Like, yes, ultralight gear has the tendencies to be less durable, right? I mean, that's how they make it ultralight. But again, it comes down to you, how you use that gear and just using it responsibly. So if fragility isn't the issue, what about comfort? You know, you hear a lot of backpackers say that going ultralight is not comfortable, which brings me to myth number 4, and that is that going ultralight doesn't mean that you're sacrificing comfort. A well dialed in ultralight kit will be comfortable for you on trail and off trail. The key to remember here is you can't go ultra comfortable when you go ultra light. So you can't bring a chair, an inflatable mattress, a big plush pillow, multiple changes of clothes, and still expect to have an ultralight kit. It's just, that's unreasonable and it's too much. But what you can do is focus on the things that'll make you the most comfortable you can be on trail. So is that leaving your chair at home but bringing an inflatable pad and a pillow instead? Or is that bringing a chair, multiple changes of clothes, and sleeping on an 1/8-inch foam mat? Perhaps you want a really big, spacious tent. What are you going to sacrifice to get that tent? And that's what I'm talking about. You can be comfortable while going ultralight. You just have to pick what priorities are the most important for you. You can't prioritize every single thing when you go ultralight backpacking, but what you can do is prioritize comfort. You can make that a huge priority. And if you do that, you're not prioritizing 6 other things at once. Without a doubt, you can still be comfortable. You can maintain that comfort on trail and off trail and still have a good time going ultralight backpacking. So comfort can absolutely be achieved while you're on trail. And here's another surprise. Going ultralight isn't just for thru hikers. That leads me to myth number 5, that going ultralight is only for the hardcore thru hikers out there. So I will admit that yes, it makes sense for thru hikers to go ultralight because they're going to be on trail for a really long time doing thousands of miles. And if they can have a lighter kit when doing that, that makes a lot of sense, right? But let's also face the obvious that having a lighter pack is beneficial for anybody, whether you're doing a weekend trip or going thousands of miles. The thing about thru hikers is they have to just carry a lot more gear, which why going ultralight, or at least trying to go ultralight, makes sense. You know, they have to carry way more extras like consumables like meds, toilet paper, sunscreen, bug spray, fuel, battery banks, cords, repair kits, just all kinds of stuff that us weekend warriors can pretty much kind of get away with not carrying sometimes. By contrast, a weekend warrior can kind of just grab and go. And that's my main point here, is it's much easier for a weekend warrior to go ultralight backpacking because they don't need to worry about all the extra stuff that I just mentioned that a thru hiker needs to carry. And there's a lot of other reasons why a weekend warrior would want to go ultralight backpacking, whether it's age, health, injury, whatever it may be. It's just beneficial for them to go ultralight. But here's the kicker. A lot of people don't consider ultralight backpacking real backpacking, which brings me to my next myth. Real backpacking are for people who carry heavy packs, or by contrast, nothing at all. Now, Steven from My Life Outdoors said it perfectly if you know his channel. He said, quote unquote, that the mark of a real man is someone who brings a ton of gear with them or no gear at all. And what he's trying to say is he gets a ton of comments about people who saying you're not a real backpacker unless you carry a really heavy pack and you're, being all manly about it. On the other side, there's people who say that you're not a real backpacker because you're carrying too much. Whether you have a 10-pound base weight, a 2-pound base weight, a 30-pound base weight, it doesn't really matter because you are doing you. And that's what matters. You are doing the things that you want to do that make you comfortable, that give you the experience of what you want. I will never give my neighbor grief because they bought a ranch house to live in and I live in like a split level. Like, nobody cares. It doesn't matter. We're both accomplishing the same goal. We have a roof over our heads. Nobody's wrong here. Just get outside, enjoy yourselves, and stop being so judgmental. Now, if you like this ultralight backpacking stuff, I'll put my playlist for ultralight, all my ultralight videos right here. Appreciate you guys. You have a great day. I'll see you soon.